Here we jump right from a Sweetie Belle episode directly into an Apple Bloom episode. As we begin, the Cutie Mark Crusaders are trying to earn their marks as professional bowlers. And yes, this is the now famous scene that references The Big Lebowski. I would make a comment about this, but just like the Music Man reference, I haven't actually seen The Big Lebowski. Although I did immediately recognize the characters, so there's that at least. It quickly becomes clear that they all stink at bowling, but Sweetie Belle's just happy to be here today. Scootaloo is using the technique referred to in industry terms as aiming down the badonk, and if nothing else, Apple Bloom's on track to become the best ball sucker in all of Equestria. Seriously, a freaking bowling ball? How do you even do that? In the end though, there are no cutie marks to be had, and Apple Bloom takes it especially hard. She's depressed, apathetic, and walking around as if in a daze. So when her friends see her wandering towards the Everfree Forest, they turn around and walk away? No, seriously! Even the adults are afraid of going in there. In fact, the Crusaders themselves were almost killed by a cockatrice last time, and it's clear that Apple Bloom isn't paying attention to where she's going. Why aren't you stopping her? And sure enough, in no time at all, she falls flat on her face and breaks a tooth. And that's without even running into anything dangerous. Luckily, Zecora spots her and takes her back to her hut. She mixes a potion to fix the broken tooth. Oh, thank goodness. You don't want to sound like Twist the rest of your life. And Apple Bloom gets the idea that there might be a potion to make her cutie mark appear. Zecora tells her there's no such thing, but while preparing medicine for a completely unrelated case, it slips out that there's a plant called Heart's Desire that might have a similar effect. The next day at school, Apple Bloom shows up proudly sporting a brand new cutie mark. Some of the kids guess that it's the letter O to go with her super sucking powers, but it's actually a loop-de-hoop, a kind of hula hoop that Applejack made for her when she was younger. I have no idea how that's supposed to be a part of your lifelong ambition, unless you plan to audition for Equestria's Got Talent, but hey, whatever works. Miss Cheerilee sees what's happening and, because she's high or drunk, I guess, decides to cancel class for the rest of the day so they can all watch Apple Bloom do hoop tricks. It gets a bit confusing though when a second cutie mark appears, indicating that Apple Bloom's other talent is balancing spinning plates on a stick. She's apparently never even done this before, but surprisingly she ends up taking to it quite naturally. Strange though it may be, everyone assumes that she's just a prodigy of some kind. Until yet another cutie mark appears, and she now finds herself unable to stop tap dancing. After a bit of research, Twilight reveals that Apple Bloom has the Cutie Pox, a mysterious disease in which multiple cutie marks appear all over a pony's body, also causing the victim to feel compelled to do the actions that are implied by each mark. Unfortunately, there's no way to treat the disease because it apparently cleared up on its own, and the cause was never found. And of course, once news of the illness gets around, it causes a massive panic throughout the town, as Apple Bloom starts switching activities completely at random. And you know, this would have been a perfect opportunity for Weird Al to make a guest appearance. I'm just throwing that out there. Fortunately, Zecora shows up to restock her supply of Heart's Desire after it mysteriously ran out. They tell her what's going on, and it turns out that she does have a cure for Cutie Pox, a seed for a special flower that will only grow when someone tells the truth. Applejack pleads for anyone to say something, and the only volunteer is Pinkie Pie, who confesses to eating some corn cakes, though the way she breaks down when that doesn't work indicates that she's hiding something way more important than corn cakes. But ultimately, it's Apple Bloom who confesses that she took the Heart's Desire and made her own potion to get a cutie mark. She then takes the cure and apologizes, and Zecora tells her that it's okay to make mistakes sometimes, just so long as you learn from them. Apple Bloom then writes a letter to Celestia repeating the main lesson, that there are no shortcuts in life, and if you want something, you have to be patient and earn it honestly. Well said. She then finishes by saying that good things come to those who wait, and then decides that she's done waiting. And of course the adults are all shocked as the children go off to find another way to get their cutie marks. Now this was a very enjoyable episode overall. I think the Cutie Mark Crusaders are all shaping up as better characters than they were in Season 1. It's great to see supporting characters like Zecora getting more attention, and I definitely appreciate the multiple lessons that we get at the end. But this episode does have a number of problems. Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo let their friend wander into a potentially dangerous situation just because the story needed them to. The loop-de-hoop sequence dragged on a bit too long, and I still have no idea what Cheerilee was thinking. But the biggest problem is with the very end of the episode. We actually get a really good lesson at the end, and then cap it off by saying good things come to those who wait. Now this is the same message that we've all heard on 100 different after-school specials, and frankly, the way it's used here doesn't fit. The problem is that it seems to confuse being patient with sitting on your ass and doing nothing. We're meant to believe that Apple Bloom is missing the point when she runs off at the end, when actually what she's doing is a good thing. Remember, just a few moments earlier she said that if you want something, you have to earn it. So for example, if you want to become a good artist, you know how you do that? You draw. and draw, and draw, and draw, and when you can't draw anymore, you keep fucking drawing! But it does take a long time and a lot of work, and that's why you need to be patient. It does not mean that you should sit around and wait for magical art skills to instantly pop out of nowhere after a designated time limit. And that's why the sudden turnaround at the end is so offensive here, because it makes it sound like the show doesn't even understand its own message. So after all these episodes that have been getting solid 9s, we now have a combo breaker! The Cutie Pox gets a 7 out of 10.